A very warm and loving welcome to you all. Today we are going to continue our book club for 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And today we're going to talk about a very important message that Stephen Covey shares in the book. And he talks about perceptions. And the message he's conveying is, or as I understood is, to look at how our perceptions are formed and how we perceive the world around us and how that seeing shapes the world. And let me try to read it exactly from the book. How perceptions are formed, how they govern the way we see, and how the way we see governs how we behave. It taught me that we must look at the lens through which we see the world, as well as at the world we see, and that the lens itself shapes how we interpret the world. So lens is the perception. And he gives a very personal example, and I'll actually share a very personal example and see if you can relate with it. I've had eczema, which is an inflammatory skin condition, for almost 20 years. And it's not a mild form of eczema, it's a very severe eczema. I've been on the healing journey for so long, but I haven't found a cure for it. I try to manage it. And just to give you an example would be that for the 20 years of my life since I've had eczema, there's always a lot of itchiness in the body at every moment, 24 hours a day. And then depending on the severity, some days it's better, but most of the day is, I would say, compared to a normal person, it's on the severe side. So I'm also in some form of pain for the 20 years of my life. And I'll just leave it at that. So that's just to give you a basic paradigm. It's almost like, not exactly, but if I tell you that I had a fever of 101 degrees for almost 20 years, and then you have to function with that fever day in and day out with whatever responsibilities day to day you have for your own selves, but for people around you. So that's just a basic paradigm. I will not go more into that. But now we go back to what Stephen Covey is saying, that how perceptions are formed. Now my perception when that eczema happened, and for a very long time, it was, why did this happen to me? This is a disease, and this is a problem. I had a lot of resistance towards eczema. And my perception was, what did I do wrong that it happened to me? And another perception was, why is life being unkind to me? Or generally we just say that, oh, why is God unkind to me, when we don't even really know the meaning what God is. And that happened for a very long time, even though I was trying to grow spiritually, mentally. But those attacks of blame and feeling betrayed by life, feeling a lack of love for my own life, to say, happened. A big period of these 20 years. But then another shift happened eventually as the roots of wisdom started to take in. The shift happened. And now for the last couple of years, the perception is, eczema is my guru. Eczema is my teacher. It is actually showing me the way towards healing. Healing of my habitual, automatic, emotional, and mental patterns. My addictions to certain thought patterns and emotions. And then also to perceive eczema as something that shedding light and on those off aspects of myself that are robbing me of my happiness and health, and to take control of that. So it's becoming, or it became my teacher in that sense. And now I kind of tell myself, whenever I am going into that mode of pessimism and blame, that eczema is my teacher, it's my guru. It actually came to heal me. Without eczema, I would have not explored all the things, all the wisdom that I've explored. And in a certain way, I have more stability in my head compared to when I didn't have eczema and I was fully healthy. And that is the gift of eczema. And that is, I think, what Stephen Covey is talking about. Whenever you're faced with something dark, unpleasant, a person or a situation, how do you perceive that? But even before that, a lot of our perceptions are already formed, and we are just seeing through those perceptions, through those lenses, and then we keep defining those situations through those lenses. And since we define those situations or people as against us or with us, and then by categorizing that, we have certain responses and reactions, and which keep us in the same trajectory of despair and happiness, the polar opposites, rather than totally changing the perception game and looking at whatever that challenged person is with equanimity as something that has come to help you grow, to become better. So I think the key takeaway is, for you all, and for me included all the time, that whenever we are perceiving something, let's take a step back and redefine how we are perceiving things, rather than from our normal, habitual way of perceiving things to a much whole and much larger way of perceiving things, which comes from the wise ones. That life is always working for us. It's just we have to start looking at it that way. And then we have to make the effort, because that is the hardest part. And once you start making effort, you start to see the results. And then much of the things that we see outside that cause us harm or pain or discomfort, they simply don't have that much control or that much of influence on us, because there's something deeper and calmer within us that's established and cannot be shaken that easily. So I'll leave you with this thought to look at your perceptions, how those perceptions are formed, and then how do you define your world with those perceptions, and see what happens. Love, peace, and health.